All right, guys, we're back. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host Heather C. This is part 2 of the 90 Day Fiance OG season 9. We're on episode 4. Jeez, we're 4 episodes in. We just finally met our last couple, Thais and Patrick. So let's jump in and talk about Jabri and Miona. So we're gonna head back to Rapid City, South Dakota, and we're gonna talk about it. They're on their second day, and they're having a conversation about unpacking. And Miona is like, "Well, there's no reason for me to unpack my winter coats because we're not going to be here in the winter because we're only going to be here for a couple of months." And Jabri's like, "Oh, well, you should just unpack everything. We're going to be here a while. Like, we're going to be here a while." And that is not sitting well with Miona. And I know that she has her heart set on California. And South Dakota is so, in contrast, so different from California. It's like there's not even a part of South Dakota that she could compare to California to even make it seem that way. Some states have cities that are in comparison very big and very city-like, and South Dakota just doesn't have that. So we're watching them cook dinner for his parents for the first time, and they go grocery shopping. And I love that she had never seen string cheese, right? Like, that's cool. Like, you've never seen that. Like, everybody over here loves string cheese. Like, even if you're lactose intolerant, you're gonna have some string cheese. So they decide to buy a frozen bag of chicken Alfredo that they somehow made taste rubbery, I think is what Jabri's mom or dad said, or rubbery or uncooked. And I'm trying to figure out how that works because those bags, you kind of just open it and pour it in the skillet and cook it. And you literally could just walk away if it's a nonstick pan. You don't even have to stand there. So I'm wondering if they cooked badly on purpose to eliminate that chore from their chore list. Are you thinking that too?
I don't know if it was done intentionally, and it could have been one of those where you add the chicken to it. So where it's
Oh
like
yeah,
made, and then you just like the what are they called, hamburger helper type of ordeals where you add
yeah,
the stuff later on. That's the only thing I could think of because, like you said, if you cook everything and it all goes together, the chicken's already cooked. It's just in the freezer,
right.
so you wouldn't really get a rubbery taste. More so, maybe dry or overcooked. But it couldn't have been too bad because if they ate it and it was undercooked, they would have had salmonella poisoning. So,
Right, right.
so I don't think it was raw. I don't know if it was like so they had to get out of the chores or not. One thing that I notice about this couple is that they get a lot of slack, but they're my favorite. I've said that many times. I love them. Um, I think that they're one of the most authentic people on the show. And I know what people are thinking, do not come for me because I don't care what you have to say. um, when I say authentic, I mean they truly love each other. There's a lot of couples where I'm like, this could be arranged. She might want this, he might want this. But I generally believe that they're a real couple, that they really love each other. And she is a person. So she's allowed to have wants. If she wants to
Oh
live in
yeah.
LA, she's allowed to live, want to live in LA. I mean, I want to live in Florida, like I'm allowed to have my wants. So I don't think that makes her, a bad person or anything, but she's with him and she sticks with him and she lives in his mom's house and she lives in South Dakota and she's clearly a city girl. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, she is in it for the right reasons, although she does need to make up with his bandmate and his best friend because that seems like it's really bothering him with them not getting along.
Well, the issue with that is he feels that if he goes on tour, if he records the album with his best friend, she's going to cause problems, if anything. And we've seen this before. Everyone online is calling her Serbian Yoko Uno is what I've been seeing online. They're like, oh, she's gonna infiltrate the band, she's gonna destroy the band, and she's gonna break them up. And I feel like she feels that he didn't give her a chance, and he feels that she didn't give him a chance. And this is easily something that they could have a sit down and talk about and get to the bottom of, because she has animosity towards him, but only because he has such negative thoughts and feelings towards her intentions. So I just feel like it's just a conversation that they need to have together, whether or not they're stubborn enough to put their differences aside and have that conversation. That's what I think is the issue. I feel like his best friend looks at it like, I've known you for over 10 years, longer than her. I introduced you to her. My words should mean more than her. And Jabri
Yeah.
looks at it as, well, I'm in love with her. I'm marrying her. Her word is just as important, if not more important. And I need you guys to coexist. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's where the issue is coming in.
classic case of never mix work and pleasure. He is best friends with his band. That's his business. You know what I mean? And it's around your family, and it causes a lot of conflict. So I don't know. I don't fault Miona for feeling the way she does, because she was like, well, why should I have to apologize? He came at me crazy for no reason. He won't give me a chance to get to know me. So it's a two-way street. It goes both ways. I feel like she would be willing to make right. But will his best friend feel the same way? So I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I know that there was a fist fight between Jabri and David later in the season, so that's not a good sign. But let's not fast forward any more than we should. That hasn't happened yet, so let's keep hope alive for the Black Surge. Hope is alive for you guys. So let's jump in and talk about laptops. So Cara and Guillermo have spent their first night together, and he was impressed with lots of things. And it wasn't necessarily Cara's body. It was more so that she had hot water in the shower and they had air conditioning. He's not a hard guy to please, and he's super into West Virginia. And that's pretty cool, because Miona is not feeling South Dakota, but Guillermo is like, oh my God, look at these hay bales and look at these trees, and there's like cars everywhere. Like, he is not a hard guy to please. All he's really asking for is a laptop. And Cara doesn't feel like that's a good move, as she's only saved $6,000 for them while they're doing the K-1 visa and waiting on his green card, which I don't think is enough with inflation. I mean, probably inflation wasn't that bad when this was filmed, but $6,000 might not get you to 2 or 3 months at this point.
That's
so,
ass.
Right. Like, so $1,000 computer is hitting Cara hard in the wallet. And Guillermo did bring some money with him, and he feels that that's his money. And Cara feels that that's their money. And I already see a financial issue in this relationship. And those are the worst ones. Those are the ones that infiltrate the relationship from the inside, and it breaks you apart.
Yeah. The finances is a huge either make or break in a relationship, because the one person wants to feel like what's mine is yours is mine, and the other person is like, well, if I'm putting this much in, then I should have a little bit more of a say so. So he looks at it like, okay, so you live here, you have a job, you didn't really change much of your lineup, but I left my country, I sold my car, I sold my house, whatever. So
yeah, like Cara said, he brought his life over in a suitcase.
Yeah. So he feels like, okay, so I sell my whole entire life to come be with you to make a new life. Can I just get a computer out of it? And I know, like, we had this whole discussion or disagreement last night about this when we were watching the show. And, I don't know. I feel different ways about it. Like, I don't think he should not get his laptop or whatever, but they have to really sort this out. If she's saying, hey, I'm depending on this money, or we might not be able to keep you here, get married, whatever, is the laptop really that relevant at that moment in time? She's not saying you can't have it. She's just saying, like, until you could put more on the table and we can replace what I have, we might have to think what's. I mean, it's not like she's buying a Louis Vuitton purse and she said you can't have a laptop.
See, I disagree, only because he can't work. He can't really do a lot, and he can't drive. It's a limited things that he can do, and a laptop could be some way to entertain himself. And also, he could build skills. He could take online classes. He could learn how to do things. So when he does get his green card, he could get a job or a career. I just feel he left his whole life. And he did say that he did have a laptop when he was in the DR, which he lost. That didn't really help the fight, because you lost it. That's going to make her even more leery of buying you one. But
exactly.
I just feel that she's telling him flat out no. Or I guess it was not right now, but he took it as no. And in a relationship, there has to be compromise. And I felt like with Cara in this situation, in this conversation, there was zero compromise. There was, this is how I feel, and this is how it's going to go. And so early on, this is day 2. So early on.
How would the tables look if they were turned and it was the same amount of money. And he put in all this money from selling his belongings. But let's say he didn't want a laptop. Let's say he was the one that's like, we need to build the money for our future. And she went to him and was like, so yeah, I get paid in like 2 weeks, but I really think we need a new TV because, I broke the last one. Or, it's not a necessity. It's something you want because, I don't have a job. I want to sit down. I want to be entertained. But you can live without a TV. She looks at it like, there is a computer in my house. You can use my computer. And I know he said, I don't want to touch your stuff or whatever. Then that makes me wonder, do you want the laptop to do stuff that's not exactly things you're supposed to be doing? Like maybe going in, I don't know, we don't have chat rooms anymore, but, or is he going to try to talk online to other girls? Is he going to try to, on Instagram? We don't know. So maybe she could be thinking that as well. So I don't know. It's not worth losing a relationship over a laptop, but money definitely is going to be a big factor. If it's starting there, they really need to have a conversation.
They definitely should. All right, so we have a little bit of time left. So let's talk about Bilal and Shaida really quick. So after a horrible, torturous prank that he has played on her, it's time for her to meet his family, his sister, and his brother. And everyone knows about the prank. Everyone was in on the prank. So Bilal's mom asked Shaida what she thought of the house where she raised her kids. And she said, oh, well, it kind of brought me back to a time when I was a child. And then Bilal was like, oh, well, she didn't like it. And she had all these negative things to say about it. And I felt like he pushed her, like the bus was coming and he just kind of shoved her in front of the bus and was like, oh, well, she said these nasty things about the house that you worked so hard for. And I didn't like that. Like, I feel like when you're in a relationship with someone, even if it's new, you are on their side and you're there to defend them. You don't throw them out to the wolves and then let the wolves kind of tear them apart. And I felt like that's what he was doing with his family and even his sister with the children and him not wanting them. He still tried to turn that around and say, well, she wants children, but we want to travel and we have goals. And he tried to make it all that it was all on her. And I didn't like that. I didn't feel like they were united.
Well, you literally took the words out of my mouth. Like, I was literally going to say the same thing. I think the main thing that I took away from this relationship last night was just that I did not like the way that he didn't have her back. I mean, he didn't have to say anything. You know what I mean? Like when the mom said, oh, how did you like it? They could have left it at, oh, it reminded her of her childhood home.
Thank you. Yeah.
Why the heck was it necessary to say all that extra other than making your future bride look bad in front of your mom and then cause drama? Now she looks bougie. Now she looks like she's too good for everything. Their relationship, for me, I know you said we're only, 4 episodes in now?
4 episodes.
4 episodes in now. I have been leery since the first episode, between the lying and the deceiving and the not knowing each other, but she still took a risk and came here to see him. I mean, I don't know. This couple is very interesting to me. Very interesting. And I don't know how I feel yet. I have to finish the season to see, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I want them to work. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I want Shaida to be happy because I feel like, because, I'm Team Shaida and I know you feel like there's probably some things that she's doing that aren't right, digging for maybe silver or gold or whatever. But I feel like she has been open and transparent and he's been the one that's deceiving her. So I'm wanting to watch and see how it goes and see how this relationship turns out. And now that we're out of time, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been the 90 Day Fiance podcast. We're on season 9 of the OG season. This is episode 4. We're only 4 episodes in. We finally have met all of the couples. We have a good understanding of who they are, and we're still learning more and more about them each week. Tell us on the comments below who your favorite couple is so far. I'm going to stick with Bilal and Shaida only because of the drama, but let us know who your favorite couples are. So obviously it's Jabri and Miona for Heather. I'm gonna live tweet with you guys every Sunday night. Again, thank you so much for watching and supporting us. We love all of you guys, and we're gonna see you all really soon.
Bye.